All right, we at episode 2. Hello, welcome. I think I want to title my podcast "Fuck Is You Talking About?" because I hate small talk. And most of the time most of my concern with having conversation with people is people are ignorant. I mean, I know I can be ignorant in certain areas. I don't know things, and I keep my mouth shut. Okay? Or I'm going to ask a question. A lot of conversation, I believe, comes from people just wanting to be heard, and they don't really even know what they're saying. Shit, I'm doing the again. So, one of the things that I think about is a Wale track, and he does very good with collaborating with Jerry Seinfeld. He says, you give people something to talk about. Yeah. People love to talk. It's fun to talk. They don't believe half the shit they say. People want to talk. And I guess that's my core. To the core of me, that's what's wrong with society. We want to talk about things that we actually don't have answers for. I'm just going to use this as a bridge. It's not a good bridge, but it's one of the longest ways around it, but I'm going to use it. And I'm going to go ahead and say that our parents you're right, not our parents. I don't know your parents. I really only know mine. And I believe in some terms in which our parents, my parents, are ignorant. Parents feel the need to tell you to do things that they didn't do. And I understand it comes from a place of knowledge and knowing they know better now. Despite how much we actually get from our parents, everyone is different. We have to go through our own trial and error. And so even me, speaking on parents, I can't really because I'm not a parent. But I'm a child of one. I know many parents, have many parents in my life. Yours and mine. Him and hers. Brothers and sisters, see what I'm saying? Who all seem to go through the same struggles, essentially. And the government's trash. It was trash when we first got here. Well, not when we first got here. They probably didn't even have a government. They lived at peace with each other. Somehow. For some odd reason, they were able to get along at certain points. Of course, you have the rival gangs and tribes who essentially want to fight over food. But never was it sexual. I'm lying. I'm saying I can't say never. I don't know the history and details. It wasn't as drastic as we are today, though. Racism, sexism, to the point where we make up ageism and other isms just to confuse ourselves, for real, for real. Down to the core of what's really wrong with us, and people don't really like this word, but it's sin. We're sinners. We're gonna do wrong. You do wrong. People don't want to admit to being wrong most of the time, and it's crazy how much blame shifts. It started with Adam and Eve, and they shift and blame. That person, you did it. I have, for many years, accepted the blame for certain things just to try to get the ball rolling. It ain't really my fault. I'm not even involved. I come to find myself very much trying to be not involved in certain things because of the stupidity, I believe, that takes place. I don't know what else to tell you. It's crazy to me that stupid that we follow a constitution that was written during the time our ancestors were enslaved. And we still think we can live by that. As if that piece of paper was ever meant for us. They're amendments. They add on, which means they can subtract those things too, which is what we're basically going through right now. Where we're discussing, well, not we. There are men in suits discussing what should be happening to the woman body, outlawing abortions, and the actual fault comes to the fact that sex shouldn't be had without marriage. So essentially we all need to swallow that pill and stop fucking each other. But in the sense of being happy, your freedoms and your rights, because you came over here for religious freedom, so you don't necessarily want to be told that it's a sin and you want to do whatever it is that you want to do, then no, you can't try to tell this person or control this person in a certain way of reproductivity, how they want to live. To be governed doesn't make sense to me at all. I believe in higher power. I'm almost at this point of believing that God is a woman because of how much we tear down women. Essentially like the idea that God is colored. As much as we try to tear down colored people. It's a fight against the good, as far as I can see. Doesn't make any sense to me. If, for example, if abortions were outlawed, right? Years ago, one, some of y'all wouldn't be only children. So you'd probably be poorer than you are now. On top of that, there'd be so many children of color. I don't think that makes sense. Hold up. To outlaw abortion and be so many children of color. Why did I just say that? My brain takes me to a point where slavery once was a thing. And as a white father, I wouldn't want my white daughter to have this colored child, right? But abortion is outlawed, so she's having this kid. Essentially, those are the people who want control. Old white men. That's the way I feel. I don't necessarily think that we as black people, we as colored people, try to beat down our women or want to control our women. I find myself at odds with women because of the fact that I want you to get as much freedom as you could possibly have. It's your choice. It's your decision. This is your body. These are things that you want to do. Essentially, I had a chick tell me that she wanted to have kids, but also in a relationship with me. And I'm like, you're pregnant by somebody else. On one hand, at some point in time, a lot of mothers out here are already pregnant by somebody else, trying to make a family work. So it almost makes sense to me that if we're making a family work and you want another addition to the family, go ahead and add that. Who am I to say no, right? I mean, because I could say no. And then we're all upset. Rather than, you know what I'm saying, you go do whatever it is that you want to do. You're going to be pregnant, and we still going to be a family. Love is such a concept for people. It's weird. I find my love to be, I die for you. I would die for you. As well as I would take a life for you, you know? I do things for people, essentially. I'm a doer. I can't necessarily show you love. I don't think it's shown just by me giving you my time. People find time to complain about time. If we pay attention to shows, movies, even documentaries, I want to say Avatar, Last Airbender right now, because at that point in time, they were trying to control a certain sense of your personal power. Each individual has their own gift, talent that they can operate in. Not only does the school system depress certain things like that, but I don't think the government ever wants individuality to take place. And I'm not necessarily involved in individuality to even know the depth of what I'm talking about. But I just mean thinking for yourself. Doing for you. If you don't want to work on a certain end, you don't want to eat. See what I'm saying? That is what I believe work is. Work is you trying to make sure you eat, trying to make sure you can live. You have to work as a punishment from the Heavenly Father. We shouldn't be trying to pay bills and going to work hungry. We shouldn't be starving. This shouldn't be a thing. We should have been taught how to harvest and survive, nurture, gather, maybe. We are taught to depend on. Find something that you're interested in doing, make it your thing, and sell it. Trade that for something else. In which some people go, I can't cook. No, you just weren't taught. No one showed you how to. Everyone could be able to cook. It's almost an instinct for us as people. Well, maybe not, because, you know, we've come so far. Fruits and vegetables sometimes maybe don't even have to be cooked. And at that point of fruit being a flesh, the food that we should eat more often than the meat, vegetables. So in one hand, we wouldn't have to cook, but on the other, we like meat. I guess the further that we fall from God, the further we get to controlling our own destiny, right? We want a certain amount of power. That's why we try to govern each other. I don't appreciate the idea of being governed because there is a God. There is a higher power, somebody who can stop me in my tracks. If I was talented and trained in hot wiring cars, how many cars do you think I could get before the police officers or the government caught me to even, have me learn the lesson? Whereas the first time I did it, I got into an accident. All right, big man, I see you. I'm done. Not doing that no more. Life is, and even, how people go, the world, the universe, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to get too deep into that because it's a whole nother argument. But that's also why I'm saying that I don't like talking to people. This is always an argument, some way, somehow. I'm not one for conversation, because essentially somebody needs to be teaching somebody, and then somebody's taking from somebody. So one thing I do want to teach, and I would like you to be able to take from this, is that I recently learned that silence brings on consent. Me being quiet about a certain thing makes you feel that it's okay for it to keep happening. That's not true. So I gotta start opening my mouth. And that's what these podcasts, these episodes are going to be about, are for. An exchange of power. I'm a giver. And so I'm at this point where I understand that I have to give. I'm not always going to get back. It is what it is. Because that is life. My mom, my mother's give to me. And I can never give back enough. I could never equal what my mothers have already given me. From the start, you feel me? My mother gave me life. I can't do anything to pay her back in full, is what I mean. She's going to make a profit off of me for sure. And yes, kind of think of kids as tools, profits. Essentially, it is said that God wants us to, be fruitful, multiply. I hear that. I understand that. I also think that somewhere along the line, it's just us trying to keep and consume as much power as we can in our family name. My little sister talked to me one day because I am the only son. She gets married, the last name is going to change. If I don't have any kids, the last name is going to die off. People are born every day. Bruce tried to change his name to Caitlin. You could do what you want, yo. The name doesn't have to die off because of me. My little sister could keep her name, right? I was interested in... was interested, am continually back and forth with the idea of taking a woman's last name. Essentially, I just want to add it on to mine. The names back in the day used to hold the power, So almost as long as it was, as big as it is, come from these great people, this great nation of people. What I mean by the names is how many King Louis have they had? Stupid, but you know what I'm saying? Who am I to call it stupid because I want to take a woman's name and add it on to mine? You know what I'm saying? I get power is in words, but it's not often that we use these words wisely. To believe in a God, to believe in God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the Holy Trinity. He believes that not only do words have power, but that's where exactly we come from. Everything on this earth has come from the word, a word. According to the written word, the Bible, it happened instantaneously. He spoke and it was. Scientists like to say a Big Bang took place. I put the two and two together. A great entity is himself speaking would cause a loud outburst, a bang, so to speak. Because there was darkness, right? That's what both parties have come to an understanding of. It's dark. He decided to speak some things into life. And life started moving. On one hand, I believe that there's truth in everything. Somebody has fabricated it, twisted the words around into a sense of I don't even know, intention maybe? For example, if God said if we ate from that tree, we would surely die. And we die. We have an end. Our physical form ends. Apparently from the beginning, it would not have. I mean, as the word says, Adam and Eve lived for ages, years past what we live today. Some would say they were closer knit to the heavenly power. I want to say it's almost like it's the concept of you as a person dating smaller and smaller people. If your dad liked short women and you like short women and your son likes short women, y'all won't be a tall people. The closer we were to the Heavenly Father, Adam and Eve was directly descendant from forever, eternity. So they had to get cut off, because imagine if we did live forever, right? Imagine if Hitler was still here. Imagine if Dr. Martin Luther King was still here. Imagine if, and that's a whole nother side of death, because that's somebody killing you. But it brings me right back to the very beginning of certain things, in which I said, sin. We're sinful people. We sin. Born sinner. We are born in sin because of Adam and Eve. Therefore, we die. And in between us living and dying, we find time to be racial, sexist. We find time to be idiots. Adam was so closely knit to God that he made up these names for the animals. And you got people today naming their child Absidy, ABCDE. We are definitely as creative as we have always been, but that's just, woo! I'm getting a little stupider, a little dumber. Seen a TikTok the other day, is criminals are getting dumber and dumber. He's trying to break into the cop car while cops are in it. How, Sway? And then homie passed out as they rolled down the window to say, hey, what are you doing? I mean, passed out. Scared. Himself almost to death. Whoa. I don't necessarily know where I want to go with this one, or where I was going, or if a message even got out. But things have to change. And it's not going to just with, a ballot, a piece of paper that essentially, once it's out of our hands, somebody else could rip up. I don't believe in it. I can't. Don't make no sense to me. For example, we don't believe in a God because we can't see him, but essentially somebody did. Somebody wrote some things down. Things were passed on from time to time. And if you don't believe in that, I don't understand how you want me to believe in a voting ballot, a piece of paper that is going to be out of my sight in a few minutes. Not only will I never see it again, it's not like it's calculated as New Year's is. You know what I'm saying? Every camera wants to look at that one ball. Why aren't we getting all the ballots to one spot? Pulling them all out one by one. I mean, it's going to take a good month or so to, show the camera and count who this is for. But what, bro? We publicize so much stuff that it's just washed over. It's the slick of the hand, a magician, the magic trick. They distract you with this while they do this over here. They want to talk about abortion. and let certain people like Zimmerman walk free for killing people anyway. I guess they trying to say, save everybody the stress and just kill it at the source rather than 16 years from now, right? Stupid. I'm at this point where I do want to talk, shake some things, change some things. I'm also at this point where talking isn't cutting it. We gotta put our hands on some of these motherfuckers. Some people are just corrupt. There is no getting them right. I'm not one to waste my time beating somebody's butt. You know what I'm saying? If you bad, I'm gonna just get out the way. I shouldn't be here, obviously. We don't have to coexist. Earth is too heavy for the air. They don't mix well, for real, for real. They gotta give each other their space. I essentially want to write a book about the elements because there are times where we do meet and we can coexist. Party, whatever it is. But as fire and earth are combustible, the two of them kind of need space from each other sometimes. It's good to have fire, a nice little campfire. The sun is great. The core of the earth is very much needed. The boundaries are also needed. There's an ozone layer. There's miles of galaxy, space that separates us from being burnt by the sun. It doesn't make sense because it should make sense. Things should blend rather than not. Some would say that the first woman was white because she came from the bone marrow of a man. Some would say we all come from black people. Some would say woman was first. I think, as I said before, there's a little bit of truth in everything. It's all connected. Because what Lucifer say? You're not gonna die. He's gonna be kind of like God. No. We were already like God. He made us in his image. We were just obedient to him. What Lucifer did, the snake, the serpent did, was separate us from our obedience. therefore making us disobedient. And it's funny how the word diss, oh, you dissing me? Could just add on to that. And we still fight to believe that God is real, but yet we are dissing him, right? That's exactly what that is. To be disobedient. You're dissing. You don't want to fuck with me for real? You want to use me for something else, but you know, that's another story for another day. Don't get me started on using, because essentially that's the religious freedom we're looking for, right? To not be held to a certain title, the degree. At a certain point, if I tell you that I'm a Christian and I do things, you're going to hold me to that, and you can see it as stealing from me. You're going to forgive me, right? That's what you do. That's what Christians do. They forgive. Doesn't mean steal from me. You're a nice person. That doesn't. Why did Cain kill Abel? It's always something. It's always something. So, I guess I can just leave you with that question. The fuck is you talking about? Because if it really don't matter, it's just clouding our judgment.